It's about to get real emotional. AC Milan, one of football's greatest giants, boasting a legacy like no other. 19 Serie A titles, 7 Champions Leagues, and a history filled with iconic legends. Paolo Maldini, Kaká, Shevchenko. For decades, they ruled Europe, an unstoppable force in Italian football, an unstoppable force across the world. But in recent years, this once mighty club has struggled. Financial challenges, managerial changes, and a loss of its former dominance has left Milan searching for its true identity. Okay, now that the introduction is done, let's talk Milan. Where did it go wrong? Who's to blame? But let's just get familiar with some background knowledge. In 2012, a very dark cloud appeared over the San Siro. Nobody knew why, how long it was going to last, but this cloud resembled the banner era. Milan's banner era, it went on from 2012 all the way to 2019. But towards the end of that banner era, there was some hope in every Milan fan's heart because Elliott Group took over. They acquired Milan, and from the jump they pumped 50 million euros into the club. But what they done best as owners, as people responsible that have the final say in a club, is they gave the tools to the right people and left them to work. Now let me just repeat that, but in slow motion. They gave the tools to the right people and they left them to work without any interference, without much involvement. The finances are there. Go out and do what you do best. And Milan, let's just say, they flourished. This is a Milan team that won the Scudetto. This is a Milan team that the following season went on to reach the Champions League semi-finals. Across the world, there was fear. Across the world, people were looking at this Italian giant and telling themselves, listen, it's been a tough decade, but it feels like the demon within the San Siro has been awoken. This demon is now awake. This demon is hungry. This demon is ready to dominate. Up stepped Paolo Maldini. Now let's just look at this iconic interview that he done.
You've changed ownership a couple of times. You won the championship last season after a long spill without winning it. Where in the development is this moment for you?
We're in a pretty strange moment because I think we are not there, like, with the top clubs, but we are here. So, we have to be brave and smart enough, to understand the moment and to make investment now to reach that level.
What a man. What a legend. What an icon. Every Milan fan loves Paolo Maldini. But in my humble opinion, that interview was the beginning of the end of Paolo Maldini at Milan. This is a man that embodies Milan. This is a man that's a leader of men, a player, a sporting director, an individual, a human that bleeds black and red. And he was a man that was relieved of his duties. And in my opinion, this interview was the beginning of the end. But let's just rewind. This interview was done in the run-up to a Champions League semi-final game. But what happened that season? There were big changes at Milan in the 2022-2023 season. Elliott Group sold to RedBird Capital Cardinale. Cardinale is a man that, let's just say, is more interested in profits, in finances. He's more interested in the commercial side of football rather than the side that every fan loves, which is success, dominance, football, stars, storylines. He cares about the money. Let's just say a conflict of interest. Maldini, as he said in the interview, it's time to be brave. It's time to pounce on the opportunity. It's time to make a statement to every team across the world. Maldini was the sporting director that oversaw everything. He was the man that walked in. He was the man that rebuilt this team. He was the man that had a say in signing integral pieces that won the Scudetto, signing players for a bargain. We're talking players such as Rafael, Benacer, Theo Hernandez, and the list goes on. But having said all of that, just like any sporting director across the world, on some days you'll get it right, and on some others you'll get it wrong. Maldini also made some questionable signings. And in my humble opinion, regardless of the research that I have made, I always felt like when Cardinale took over, he looked at Maldini and told himself, I can never ever have true power of Milan as long as Maldini is in this club. Why? Because of what Maldini stands for, because of what he embodies. He is an icon, he is a legend, he is a fan favourite as a sporting director, as a player. Everything about Maldini, every Milan fan loves. And I feel like sometimes to assert your dominance, to take full control, you might have to let go of a fan favourite. But let's just say Cardinale has paid the price. But let's go back. Maldini, he understood Milan. He understood the modern game. He knew where this team needed to continue to grow and develop to reach the heights it once was at. But a conflict of interest, a conflict of power, Cardinale relieved him of his duties. Now let's fast forward to more recent years. RedBird Capital, Cardinale 2022. Now, as I said, in my opinion, it was a matter of asserting your dominance, getting the power you truly want, relieving Paolo Maldini, a club icon, a club legend, relieving him of his duties in very embarrassing fashion, not even a social media post. This is a club legend that deserved more than that. But it came across like he was just booted out of the door. But where is this frustration that Milan fans have? Because they look at their tenure under RedBird Capital and there's been more negatives than positives. It's a club that has a broken identity. If anything, it's a lost identity. Are they making the steps like they once were to reclaim this identity? No. You look at the recruitment. Which club signs players in the summer and is then more than happy to relieve them of their duties and sell them on 6 months later in January? A lack of plan, a lack of structure, people being appointed, given roles, given power that they don't have the expertise for. And I'm a firm believer in, if internally at any institution, if you've got internal problems and the structure is wrong, it will make its way down to the football pitch. And the football pitch is what every fan is most invested in. You go to the San Siro, you sit down, you watch Milan. You don't want to see a mess which was caused by people higher up. Now, seeing as we're speaking about people higher up step Zlatan Ibrahimovic, a player that's an icon in the game, a legend, a player that's played for so many top teams across the world, a player that's represented the black and red Rossoneri shirt. But let's just say Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who truly knows his role. Because I don't. Is he an ambassador? Is he a sporting director? Is he an assistant? Is he a spokesperson? Or is he, and I mean this with full respect, is he just there for vibes? Because it's really coming across like Zlatan is there for the media work, to go out and put out those one-line statements, to make those quotes talking about lions, kittens, dogs, hyenas, dragons. The list goes on. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a man that's come out on numerous occasions and said, I am the boss and everybody follows my orders. So if you are the boss and everybody follows your orders, you must be held accountable for what's gone wrong with Milan ever since you stepped into that position. But if I was to be completely honest with you guys, I don't know what Zlatan Ibrahimovic's role. I don't know what say he has. I don't know what authority he has. The one thing I do know is it's coming across like he represents Cardinale, because he echoes what Cardinale says. And if that is the case, then it's not the best of looks. It's not what any Milan fan wants to see or hear from a player that's tasted success with Milan, a player that's represented Milan, a player that understands Milan. Because in the past, when Maldini understood Milan, he helped Milan grow. He took them to heights that Milan haven't reached in decades. But under Zlatan Ibrahimovic, under Cardinale, it's looking like Milan are heading into a second banter area in a time of football where it's very, very, very vulnerable. Some teams don't make it back. Football nowadays, there's a lot of factors hindering teams. You need to pump money. You need to capitalize on the moment. You need to keep growing. You need to keep making the correct and right decisions for the development of your club. And with Milan at the moment, you're seeing more wrong decisions than good. What does the future hold? I don't know. But I feel like this summer, it's key when it comes to appointing the correct manager, hiring the correct players, getting in the correct sporting director. This is a Milan club institution that needs to press the reset button and start from scratch, because they are running out of time, because clubs across the Serie A are growing. Now, if you're new, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the like button, make sure to let me know what you think in the comments, and I will catch you guys on another one.